everybody, and welcome to another edition of RotoBaller Radio. I'm your host, Anthony Aniano, and it's prediction time as we're knocking on the door on the eve, recording here on the eve of MLB opening day. It's time to give my thoughts and predictions for the 2021 baseball season. Guys, don't forget, head over to RotoBaller.com and sign up now. I have 2 drafts today, the day before the season, so if you're going down to the wire, sign up now and get our draft package, our draft kit, and get all loaded up with that. If you're ready to start the season, whether it's DFS or season long, RotoBaller's MLB package, the place to be as well, with the lineup optimizers, waiver wires, sleepers, busts, you name it. RotoBaller.com, where you want to be for the baseball or any other sport, whether it be football, basketball, MMA, esports, NASCAR, PGA. RotoBaller.com, the place to be, and sign up for those premium packages using the promotional code ACES, letting them know that Anthony Aniano sent you. All right, guys. So we've broken down the drafts. You've seen all the great content here at RotoBaller's YouTube channel. This is always a fun show for me. Predictions. You get some of them right, you get some of them wrong, but you have a good time with it. And we're going to start right away, right here in the American League East. My prediction to win the American League East, it seems kind of obvious, but it's the New York Yankees. And the Yankees are not a team without flaws. That pitching staff does have some concerns, and the Yankees have to stay healthy. Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, for all the money they're making and all the talent they possess, they have to stay on the field. DJ LeMahieu, their most consistent offensive weapon, and keep in mind they've already lost the American League home run leader of last season, Luke Voit, with a knee injury right now. You're seeing Jay Bruce, Toutman, Ford, all these potential fill-ins at first base. Voit out potentially till the end of May or early June. You have questions about Gary Sanchez. Does he hit enough to maintain the job? But all that being said, it's still the Yankees. It's still LeMahieu, Judge when healthy, Stanton when healthy, Gleyber Torres, Clint Frazier with a ton of upside, and the best pitcher arguably in the American League in Garrett Cole. Now the rest of that pitching staff has some questions to answer. What does Corey Kluber have left? Does Jameson Taillon rebound after 2 Tommy John surgeries? Domingo Germán, Jordan Montgomery. Bullpen should be terrific, especially when Zach Britton returns from injury, Chad Green, and the rest of the crew yet there. The benefit these Yankees have is the division's just not that strong, right? Tampa moved on from some players. Boston is rebuilding. Baltimore's been rebuilding for 20 years. And the Toronto Blue Jays are the only real competition for this Yankee squad. And the issue with the Blue Jays is they're young. They're very young. Okay, they brought in Marcus Semien. He's the oldest everyday player along with Springer at over 30 years old. Kevin Biggio, Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero. Does he finally emerge? Remember, he's still only 22 years old, is Vlad Guerrero. Grichuk will play in center field. Springer potentially now missing some time at the start of the season with the oblique. Now, the question for this Toronto team is pitching after Eugene Rue at the top. Ross Stripling, Steven Matz, Tanner Roark, Anthony Kay. There are questions about this pitching staff. There's no doubt about that. Nate Pearson going to start on the injured list. Robbie Ray potentially starting on the injured list. They've already lost their closer in Kirby Yates in Toronto. Jordan Romano projected to get some saves, but there are other players who may get them there as well. So injuries already striking down some of the Blue Jays' hopes with the pitching staff, with the closer situation, with their prize center field free agent acquisition. Okay, still should be the second best team in the division. All right, Tampa, they move on from Blake Snell. Can they trust Tyler Glasnow as their number 1 starter? A guy's barely thrown 120 pitches ever in his career for an inning. Boston, Nathan Eovaldi at the start of the Eduardo Rodriguez. Listen, Boston will score some runs. Devers, the rookie Bobby Dalbec, Xander Bogaerts, J.D. Martinez, they'll score some runs. Not enough pitching there in Boston. And Baltimore, we know, although there's talented pieces there coming through, guys like Ryan Mountcastle, okay, and some of the young pieces, still years away from truly contending. First prediction, New York Yankees, 95 wins, win the American League East. Now, in the Central, my pick for the American League Central Division champion, it's not the White Sox. I'm having a hard time getting past the Eloy Jimenez injury. It's going to be the Minnesota Twins. Okay, when I look at this team around the infield with Miguel Sano, Polanco at second, the addition of Andrelton Simmons and his defense at shortstop. Josh Donaldson has to stay healthy at third base. And at outfield, Jake Cave, Kepler, Buxton. Okay, a nice catching situation with Jeffers and Garver. Okay, there's just talent here. Luis Reyes as a jack of all trades infielder who's going to hit plus 300. Okay, it's a strong offensive team with strong pitching. Kenta Maeda, Jose Barrios, Michael Pineda, J.A. Happ, and Shoemaker. Not a terrible starting rotation. Two closers, essentially, in Colomé and Rogers. Minnesota team does run deep. There's no denying that. And it should be a team that should be able to win this American League Central, especially now that the injury bug has already struck down the Chicago White Sox. You're losing Eloy Jimenez for essentially the season. 5 months. Maybe you get him back in August at best. Okay, now they're going to bring up and promote Andrew Vaughn, okay, the young kid who's a first baseman by trade, has barely played the outfield. They're throwing him in left field. There's other questions I have. As much as I love Jose Abreu at first base and Mangrove, the young kid playing second, Tim Anderson's a 300-plus hitter, potential batting champion. Third base, no problem there with Moncada. Strikes out a lot, but he's a double-double type of guy. Luis Robert in center field, Robert, I should say, another double-double type of player. He's got to cut down. This is a team that could strike out a lot with Luis Robert and Yohan Moncada, the young kid Vaughn. This is a team that you're going to be able to get out via the strikeout, which is a little bit concerning. Adam Eaton, always injured, currently penciled in to be their center fielder. Now, I love the pitching, arguably the best pitching staff in the American League, especially at the top with Giolito, Dallas Keuchel, and the addition of Lance Lynn. Don't underestimate the addition of Lance Lynn. Don't underestimate the addition of Liam Hendricks as closer. It's going to be close in the American League Central, in my opinion. But the loss of Eloy Jimenez, I'm going to give it to the Twins. They're going to win it by a game or two. Both teams will make it to the postseason. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, but the American League Central champion will be the Twins. Cleveland, they're in a rebuild. Jose Ramirez is the star there. Okay, they have pitching. We know that in Bieber. They'll be on the plus side of 500, but it's going to be tough to overcome the trade of Carrasco and Lindor. Kansas City should be able to score some runs, especially once they promote Bobby Witt. The question is, how does the pitching play out in Kansas City? And Detroit will finish last in that division. They'll struggle to win 70 games. Out west, interesting division right now because the Houston Astros are devastated on the mound. They've lost Garrett Cole in recent years. Verlander is missing the season, essentially. Framber Valdez is optimistic, but it looks like he's not pitching this season. Zach Greinke's your ace there. Lance McCullers is there. But that's a questionable pitching staff in Houston with a rebuilt bullpen and an aging offense. Yuli Gurriel, Jose Altuve has struggled of late. Yordan Alvarez coming off both knee surgeries. Alex Bregman having a hamstring all spring. There's a lot of question marks around the Houston Astros, so I'm not picking them to win. The Oakland A's constantly not paying players, having to bring in younger talent. So where do I go? It's going to happen finally. We're going to see Mike Trout on the big stage, and hopefully for a long time now. But I'm going to go with the Angels to win the American League West. Okay, the question here comes down to pitching. We know they'll hit. Okay, when you look at that infield, okay, with Albert Pujols and the young kid Jared Welsh at first base, DHing. Justin Upton needs to rebound, but you got Rendon, you have Mike Trout, David Fletcher is a 300-plus type of hitter, a full season of Ohtani at the DH position as well, with Pujols and Jared Walsh platooning at first base. Now, Joe Adell will come up eventually for Dexter Fowler and take over in right field, potentially bringing another bat. The question for the Angels is the pitching. Dylan Bundy was terrific last year. Can he repeat it? Does Andrew Heaney finally put it together? Alex Cobb should be a number 5. He's a number 3. Remember, this team is going 6 starters. Okay? Quintana they added. Griffin Canning is back. And Ohtani 1 day a week will start. Okay? Can those 6 starters do enough to win this division for the Angels? I don't think 90 wins is even necessary. An 88-win season should get the Angels into the postseason. Okay? I talked about Houston finishing second. And then there's the Oakland A's, who still should be able to mash. With Olsen and Chapman at the corners, there should be offense for them. But Elvis Andrus now is the shortstop, the aging Elvis Andrus. I love Laureano in center, Marcana on one corner of the outfield, Piscotty in the other. Jed Lowry is now your second baseman. Guy played about 2 games on a 2-year contract with the Mets. Suddenly he's healthy. He wins the second base job in his return to the Oakland A's. Mitch Moreland at DH. What runs will score? Matt Chapman should lead the American League in home runs. But again, the question will be the pitching. Bassett is opening up. I love Bassett. I have him on teams. Luzardo, Minaya, Frankie Montas, Dalton Jeffries. Puck is going to potentially be in the bullpen. Rosenthal, closing. Does he stay healthy? Do they have to go to Diekman? Good team. Okay, too many questions, though, with some of these young players. It's going to be a tough... All 3 of these teams will finish in that 82 to 88 win range. I say the Angels eke out the division. You have Seattle, and then you have Texas, both of them on the rebuild. Playoff teams. So we got the Yankees, we have the Minnesota Twins, we have the Angels. My 2 wild card teams coming out of the American League. Give me the Toronto Blue Jays and give me the Chicago White Sox as the wild card. ALCS, Yankees over the Twins. American League representative in the World Series should be the New York Yankees. Okay, on to the National League East. It's the Braves division to win. Okay, bottom line. I love the improvements the Mets have made. Nationals have made improvements. But the Atlanta Braves are still the cream of the crop in the NL East. When I look at that lineup around the infield, Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, who is grossly underrated in my opinion, Austin Riley now getting the first crack at third base, Ozuna, Christian Pash in center field, and Acuna in right. It's a star-studded lineup with young pitching to die for. Max Fried, Charlie Morton, the veteran, Ian Anderson, Mike Soroka coming back from injury, Will Smith, Chris Martin closing. It's a terrific team in a division where these teams will beat each other up. So just don't look at the division winner. If Atlanta wins 93 games and think, they're a poor division winner, this is the best division in baseball, the National League East. I mean, my 5th place prediction in this division is the Miami Marlins, and they were a playoff team last year. So understand that all 5 of these teams will take turns beating each other up. I have the Mets at 2nd place. Weaknesses is that left side defense. Even with the addition of Lindor, Dom Smith is playing every day in left. J.D. Davis at third base. Now, they've got veterans they can mix in. Jonathan Villar, Luis Guillorme, Kevin Pillar to improve the defense late in games. But early in games, it's going to be an issue. Carrasco and Syndergaard potentially not back till early June. Hurts the pitching staff. Mets, sitting in 2nd place. 3rd, I have the Washington Nationals. They brought in Josh Bell, but the issue for me with the Nats, the health of Scherzer, who's had some back issues the last couple of years, and Steven Strasburg, who essentially didn't pitch last year. That's a big question mark for me with the Washington Nationals in a division that will beat up on each other. Philadelphia finishes 4th. Not enough pitching after Nola and Zach Wheeler. That bullpen potentially still a mess, even with the addition of Archie Bradley. And 5th place, and again, in other divisions, they'd probably be better off. Marlins are still a year or 2 away. Don't think they would have made the playoffs over 162 last season. But young pitching is prevalent on that team. Okay, so don't underestimate the Marlins. Just too tough a division for them to compete. In the National League Central, give the division to the St. Louis Cardinals. I can't ignore the addition of Nolan Arenado to this team. Okay, when you could go corners with him and Goldschmidt, both veterans, but still both playing at a very high level. Going to be fun to watch Arenado play outside of Colorado. But again, a lot of faith there that offense will click. Dylan Carlson in center field is a potential Rookie of the Year candidate. Tyler O'Neill, okay, in left field as well. DeJong, Yadi Molina, Tommy Edman up the middle. Rock solid team. Should be able to put up runs. Jack Flaherty is a candidate to win the Cy Young. Carlos Martinez, John Gant as your 5 starter, has stuff that could strike out batters as well as the veteran in Adam Wainwright. Alex Reyes, Gallegos, Miller, Jordan Hicks, a plethora of bullpen arms that could pitch the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, revolving door potentially there, and a situation where St. Louis can play the matchups. Milwaukee Brewers should finish in 2nd in the Central, Brandon Woodruff is a complete ace. There's no doubt about that. Yelich should rebound from the disaster that was last season. There are other questions here, though. Moving Keston Hiura to first base. I don't love his bat. I love his power. I just don't love the batting average component. The outfield should be good with Lorenzo Cain. They brought in Jackie Bradley, who's dealing with a little injury. They brought in Colton Wong. Okay. Omar Narvaez will be the catcher. Shortstop with Luis Urias. The question for me becomes the pitching after Woodruff. Corbin Burns, Hauser, Anderson, Freddie Peralta. All sorts of question marks. And if Milwaukee is not in contention, how quick do they potentially trade Josh Hader, who can rebuild that bullpen very quickly? Devin Williams could take over as the closer. Okay, so it's a terrific back of the bullpen, but they could move on from Josh Hader and get multiple major league pieces if they wanted to move Hader at the deadline or sooner for young pieces. Third place in that division is the Cubs. Not enough pitching behind Kyle Hendricks. Cincinnati, they gave it a one-year run and they moved on. They traded away. They let Bauer walk away. There's been trade rumors around Eugenio Suarez, Sonny Gray, and Pittsburgh in a rebuild. They unloaded anything that cost over $5. All right, in the West, give the division to the Dodgers, the most top-heavy division in baseball. Give the division to the Dodgers. Dustin May winning the fifth starter job. I mean, David Price is pitching out of the bullpen for this team. That's how deep the starting staff is. I mean, Walker Buehler may be the best pitcher on the team with Kershaw and Bauer, Julio Urias, Dustin May. David Price is in the bullpen. There's bats all around. We know how good this Dodger team is. We know how good the Padres team is. Now, there's been injuries already in the Padres bullpen, which is a little bit of a concern. Darvish and Snell at the top of the rotation. Dinelson Lamet missing the start of the season, a little bit of concern. Dodgers just have a little more depth right now than the Padres. Dodgers win the division. And then after those two, you have Arizona. The Zach Gallen injury is devastating. Okay, they're going to start the season with Madison Bumgarner as your number one. You don't like that. The Giants, Johnny Cueto as you know, thank you. Okay, and the Colorado Rockies, who are in a complete rebuild. So in the National League, you go Atlanta, you go St. Louis, you go to the Dodgers as your division. Your wild card teams, it'll be close. Padres will be the 4. That's an easy one. It'll be close between the Mets, the Nationals. Milwaukee should come down to the wire. I'm going to give it to my Mets. I have to do it. Okay? NLCS, Dodgers over the Braves. World Series, Dodgers over the Yankees. Just too much pitching on that Dodgers side of things not to repeat. And too much money that if they needed to add a piece like a Josh Hader at the deadline, they can do it with the young talent they have. MVP awards. National League MVP, Manny Machado. Okay, 300 average, 35 homers, 100 RBIs. Everybody looks at Tatis. I'm giving it to Machado. American League MVP award. If the Angels are going to win the division, then Mike Trout is once again going to be the AL MVP. Cy Young awards, let's give them to Jacob deGrom as he cements his Hall of Fame with his third Cy Young. And in the American League, Lucas Giolito, 26 years old, puts it all together over a full season. He brings home the AL Cy Young Award. Okay, batting champs, we're going to go Tim Anderson of the White Sox, repeating that. And we're going to go Juan Soto of the Washington Nationals. And home run champs, Matt Olson of the Oakland A's and Pete Alonso of the New York Mets. All right, everybody. Guys, it's opening day. Get into it. Settle down. Get some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. Enjoy all the games. It's finally here. 162 games of Major League Baseball. Hopefully you've enjoyed all the preview shows brought to you by RotoBaller Radio and RotoBaller.com. And now be sure to check out all the in-season action, the waiver wires. I'll be coming with you every weekend, 2 waiver wire videos, and all sorts of great content from RotoBaller.com. Sign up for that premium package using the promotional code ACES. Stay smart, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next time. Have a good one, folks.